Have you ever been separated from your loved one? Well, that was the case for Aaliyah. The last time Aaliyah saw Samir, the sky was the color of bruised plums. They stood beneath the ancient banyan tree at the edge of their village, a place that had witnessed countless confessions and stolen kisses. Their hands, calloused from working the fields, were clasped together, a fragile anchor against the storm brewing in their lives. He was 17, with eyes the color of dark honey and a quiet strength that always calmed her. She was 16, her laughter as bright as the bougainvillea that climbed the walls of her home. But now, muted by the weight of the inevitable. They were high school sweethearts, their love a tender vine that had grown alongside them, nurtured by shared dreams of a life beyond the familiar. But their families, steeped in tradition, had other plans. Their marriages had been arranged, and their futures mapped out years before they'd even met. Aaliyah, promised to a wealthy merchant from a neighboring town, Samir, to a girl from a distant village whose family owned vast tracts of land. "We'll find each other," Samir had whispered, his voice raw with emotion. No matter what. He'd slipped a small, intricately carved wooden bird into her palm. It was a common bird in their village, a symbol of hope and resilience. Aaliyah had clutched the bird, tears blurring her vision. "I believe you," she choked out, the words a fragile pledge carried on the wind. The years that followed were a tapestry woven with threads of obligation and longing. Aaliyah, now known as Mrs. Patel, lived in a large, opulent house, surrounded by silks and jewels. Her husband was a kind man, but his life was immersed in business, leaving her feeling like a bird in an expensive cage. She learned to smile, to host lavish dinners, to play the role expected of her. But in the quiet of her room, she'd trace the outline of the wooden bird, a tangible reminder of the boy whose laughter echoed in her memories. Samir, renamed Mr. Sharma, found himself the patriarch of a large family, his days consumed by farm work and community responsibilities. He was surrounded by the sounds of children and the hum of his farm, but the silence in his heart was deafening. His wife was a hardworking woman, respected in the village, but she was not Aaliyah. He kept the memory of her face close, the image of her bright smile a beacon in his mundane existence. Every harvest, he'd find a small stone that mirrored the bird he had given her, and place it on his bookshelf, a silent testament to their unspoken vow. Years turned into decades. The young lovers became adults, seasoned by life and the weight of their separate paths. They had both learned to navigate the intricacies of their marriages, but the ache in their hearts remained a constant companion. They held on to the hope, fragile but persistent, that their paths might one day cross.